What's up, guys? Welcome back to Esk8Exchange, the show where we talk about electric skateboards, MBoards, Esk8Con, and really just the electric skateboard industry in general. And as you may notice, I am producing the show today from behind camera. Or, well, I'm still in front of camera. There's just nobody in my seat this week.
You're just behind the desk.
Yes, but this week we have a special guest. We have David Pastor?
Yes.
From Shoc Board Systems.
Shoc Board
So
Systems.
you may not know
the
David,
legend.
but you certainly should know
His product.
at this point.
Everybody's
so.
ranting and raving about it right
Yeah,
now, bro.
so-
It is the talk.
So you came down from. By the way, James is here. Like,
Hey
normal.
guys,
yeah.
no,
don't want to just gloss over him.
No,
but-
it's okay,
Mr.
dude.
James,
Let's get to the
he's-
guests, man. We don't get to
my
get
star.
very. I mean, we get guests, but it's like really cool to get like the owner, inventor, the mind, like the man, the myth, the legend behind all of it, sitting here like, all right, dude, you ready for the questions? Shoot them.
I'm not a big fan of
man.
the Zoom meetings, so I like to get people here in person. And I'm probably leaving a lot of cool interviews on the table by being so anti-Zoom, but I just like people being here in the studio. So
For sure.
it's just a lot better.
Right.
But yeah, you came all the way down from Colorado.
I
right?
did come down
Yeah.
from Colorado, but the leg that I recently journeyed with was from La Jolla.
Okay.
And actually, I'm going back there. It turns out I need to do a few more things with filming for this launch video that we're trying to get produced. So I had an opportunity. I was talking to my friend Carlos last night, and so I'm going to be heading back down there today and do a few things.
Cool.
And then I'm going back to Colorado. But yes,
Awesome. All right.
Colorado is where we're based right now.
So let's quickly go over what Shoc Board Systems is for anyone who somehow doesn't know about you guys yet. So you guys first showed off at Esk8Con 2023.
Yes, we did.
So you originally sent me an email, and you had some renderings, you had a logo, but that's kind of where it was at the time.
That's where it was at. Yeah.
So describe just briefly what Shoc Board Systems is, what your two product offerings are, and like what your generally what each of them do.
What the whole shtick is.
Yeah.
Right. So Shoc Board Systems, as the name kind of implies, the main ingredient for our company is a suspension system, which is an independent travel sprung system that replaces the hanger on the kind of ubiquitous DKP or TKP truck setup for e-board platforms and just skateboards in general, but obviously the target here are e-board platforms. And it gives you 40 millimeters of travel. It, again, is independent, so each wheel can perform individually over terrain to give you a much more controlled ride instead of having a solid axle with suspension. It's kind of like a rally car setup, right? That's how I liken the system to skateboarding. The real motivation here was to give greater performance to the trail ride, to the off-road rider. And wow, I actually very recently, the time that I've been spending in La Jolla, it's been about a couple months. I've been down there a little longer than I thought, but I've been just riding trails like crazy. And I know I'm getting off on a tangent a little bit about the system.
That's okay.
But it rolls right in. That's where the performance really shines.
Cool.
Man, when you're on a trail and you're up to speed, I mean, of course, you're not doing Stooge type racing.
Well,
right.
Well, speak for yourself, sir. I felt like I was hitting Stooge speeds yesterday, dude. 'Cause he took us on the trails yesterday, Mike, and we've never done shit like this, bro. I mean, you've been skating together for a minute, and the shit that we were hitting yesterday, bro, we have never hit before. So, like in the very beginning, it was super intimidating, but like once you kind of get used to the shocks and everything, bro, you can get cooking like 15, 20 miles an hour down these single trails, as long as there's not gravel. Gravel was our worst enemy yesterday, dude. It took both of us down a couple of times. For sure.
Well, gravel's gravel, bro.
Yeah,
that's a
but-
traction issue. Yeah.
Total
we
traction
were,
issue,
dude, we were cooking, bro, during some parts that we shouldn't have been able to skate on, which was crazy. I'm so surprised I didn't pop a tire.
Yeah.
It was crazy, bro.
Yeah.
So pretty much, basically, we're at a four-wheel independent suspension system. So each wheel moves differently.
Torsion suspension system.
With torsion springs. Yeah,
Torsion
so
springs, there
I
we
guess I'll get back on track with describing what the system is without getting too detailed about it. And I'm working on being concise, so my apologies.
No, you're good, bro.
My wife, Beth, is like, you have to be more concise.
Listen, if anybody
That's the inner salesman, bro, coming out.
Well, if anybody hasn't met David, when you get to talk to David, David likes to talk, and there's nothing against that, man. It's
a labyrinth.
He likes to sit and have a good conversation information. And a lot of people don't do that anymore. It's like you sit down and it's like, all right, cool. Yeah, hi, my name's this. This is my product. All right, I'm out. But when you sit down with David, we're going to talk for 20 minutes,
sir.
dude.
Let's get to know each other.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. So the suspension system, I was inspired because I guess, let me add some context here for the inspiration, if that's okay.
Yeah,
Hey.
for sure.
Talking about
Shoot
the
it,
journey
dude. Get
and
it
the
in.
labyrinth of discussion. So I got a Esk8. The first board that I got was the Backfire Ranger, which I still have, and I love that board.
That's the hub drive one?
Yeah, it's the hub
Okay.
drive one. It's all stealthy, it's quiet, it suffers from torque and other things, but I call it a playful board. It's a great little city cruiser. I got that. I took it on a trail, and I was
with your hub motors.
I was
That's
blown
awesome.
away though. Still, it was like, okay, I'm skateboarding on the dirt. This is just stupid cool. Like, how dumb awesome is this? Hit some features. Let's just say it's trail. It wasn't too gnarly or anything. It was kind of close to my house in Colorado, pretty convenient. And I was blown away. But then it dawned on me, wow, I really should have done a little bit more research. Maybe I should have gotten something with some suspension, right? I mean, oh my God, that would really be cooking on a trail. So I got back to the interwebs, and I didn't see anything except the beast of a Baja board at that time. And that was 2020-ish. I think, and that was the only one out. Another one out right now.
That's a pretty intimidating board as well.
Yes,
Baja board's no joke.
It is a mechanically intimidating board. I'm not too sure if Propel had dropped then or not,
They
but
hadn't.
Yeah, I know it was somewhere right around then.
They were probably cooking it up in the lab,
right?
So that was the inspiration for, wow, maybe I can do something about this. My background is construction. I'm just tired. I don't want to do it anymore. So I'm thinking maybe this is a business opportunity. Let me be concise. So that's where I was.
Hold on, your background is construction, so you really thought, let me go ahead and invent this awesome suspension.
Why not?
Been there, bro.
It's like
you feel me?
We went from an arts degree to engineering, like
dude,
real quick, bro.
I commend you guys on being able to just fucking switch some shit up, and go at it and make it.
The way that we've done it is you make a lot of costly mistakes because you don't really know what you're doing, but you just keep doing it and keep iterating until it works, and that's just super expensive to do it that way.
Yeah, it is.
Though I'll argue a engineering degree is a lot more expensive, so maybe we're actually ahead of the game here.
Dude,
Totally, right?
For
Let's
sure.
throw all the
You guys
data
have
on the table.
y'all have figured something out for sure, bro.
I hope so. It seems it's proven in reality now.
Yeah.
We've got,
hell yeah.
So the suspension system. Let's not get into the whole details of the whole journey of engineering, but here it is. It's independent. One of the really cool things I think about our system is that it's so adaptable.
Very adaptable.
To all of these DKPs and TKPs out there.
So do you have a off the top of the head list of the boards that are compatible?
Oh my gosh, there's so many.
I know.
I mean, I can tell you what some of the main players are, and I know there's more, and there's some I haven't even.
We're for sure.
I mean, it's pretty much all DKP base boards.
Pretty much. So Evolve is good to go.
Yep.
MeePo's good to go. MeePo also has a TKP option for their Hurricane platforms, and I think it's available with pretty much every configuration that you want.
Yeah, they allow a lot of shit.
They work with the DKP and TKP of MeePo, also Onboard. They work with the TKPs, I know for sure, and I think they also offer the DKP, which I've tested. They work with that. They work with MBoards Endurance.
Yes, of course.
Yep. Love it.
And my gosh, I know I'm forgetting a lot. I know there's the Vespar Blackhawk 2.0, or I think it's the Blackhawk, not the new one. They have a new board.
They have a couple of them that are out.
Compatible with, or at least I haven't tried it.
Well, I think Drew's got that new one. And
Drew's got? What does he have?
Drew has the Vestar with the big battery.
Yes.
The Osprey. That's what it's called.
So I don't think it's compatible with Osprey. But here's a follow-up to this whole compatibility discussion, is that we also make a DKP TKP. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have a compatible board, you can buy those on our website. Right now I have, there's the DKP. I don't have a photograph yet for our TKP.
Yep,
but
it
that'll be
looks
coming
pretty
very
similar.
soon.
It's all CNC. It looks beautiful.
Yep. Oh, thanks, Mike.
Yep.
It does look great. We got them sitting out in the shop. Can't wait to put it on the board.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
so we just baked those, right?
I like the TKP option. Like the DKP option is very nice if you're going to be hitting trails because you kind of need to get in and out of stuff. But sometimes the TKP is really nice if you're going to be like a city street rider.
For sure. Yeah, and the crazy thing is, it's preferential depending on your riding style and also your environment, right? Like you said, James.
Right.
My friend Alex, who has the systems and has been one of the test pilots for me, who lives in San Diego, has the whole setup on his own board, Zeus Bamboo Pro, that have TKPs. And I did give Mike a picture of that board that he recently sent to me. He's on a trip right now up in Mammoth. And
you were telling us about Mammoth the other day.
Thing like crazy. So Alex has been riding this and showing me some of these awesome trails in the San Diego area. And he actually owns the Endeavor. I think it's the Pivot, right? That's the company, the Pivot.
Propel.
Pivot? Oh, Propel.
Yeah,
sorry.
Propel, and their new board that they just dropped.
Propel,
the new two-in-one is
Endeavor.
the Pivot and the Pivot GT.
Pivot is not the
like
suspended board, right?
No, it's a regular two-in-one.
So he's got the Endeavor, which I've ridden.
There,
as my first.
I got the picture up. Sorry, guys.
There it is.
Took me a second.
And we'll talk about the trick sticks too, because it's a
dude.
That
looks so mean, bro. I love the way that looks.
So he's been hitting this board super hard on these crazy trails we've been doing, and he's preferring this over. And I'm not dissing any company, but he's preferring the ride. It's very personal, subjective. He's preferring this board to the trail ride we've been doing over his Endeavor. I
believe that.
I think I do have more travel, not a great amount of more travel, but there are some advantages and disadvantages, comparative pros and cons to both systems. But it's really, it gives me a big boost confidence for my product because I really believe he's being absolutely sincere with me. He's a super cool dude. He's not really being biased. Disclaimer, I did give him the systems.
Yeah.
They're not for sale yet. So, I mean, I know that factors into everyone's consideration when I talk about test pilots and people giving me all these accolades and, claims of how awesome it is. But I know you guys are totally sincere and honest with me. I don't think I'd be on this podcast if I had a piece of crap out there.
Oh,
no way.
No, as soon as I seen this at Esk8Con, I came right over your booth. I said, hi, I'm James. I'm with MBoards. I love this. Tell me everything about it, bro. And then come to the shop as soon as you can.
James.
No, I mean, the very first podcast after Esk8Con, that was like one of the only companies I actually wanted to talk about.
I was so geeked out when you guys
massive innovation.
Like,
it's
I think
really cool.
I think your product has inspired a new award we're gonna give out next year, or from all future years will be
at Esk8Con.
It'll be like the innovation of the year award or something. And unfortunately, it didn't exist last year because you guys would have got it.
Yeah, because you were the one that gave us the idea.
Maybe we'll name the award after you guys. So that way it's better.
Something like that. But yeah, when we seen that, it gave us the idea, and we're like, all right, that's cool. How do we make more people maybe want to bring some more stuff like this? All right, well, let's make an award and let's make people talk about
something truly innovative. Because I think our industry right now is just on a cycle of refinement, right? We're just taking something that's the same and we're just tweaking it a little bit, tweak. But there's nothing super new. Like even a lot of the companies who have the best remote or the best this or the best that, they're not any different year after year. They're just a little bit refined. But this one was something actually uniquely new.
Right.
Yeah.
But a brand new thing.
Right.
It's difficult. I totally get it. You know what, Mike? I think the reason I got inspired and it kind of came to me is because I just wasn't familiar. This was brand new to me. So I had this outsider objective about it. It was just the experience I didn't have. I wasn't...
You weren't limited by what is and what's going on and what can or cannot be done. You were like, hold on.
It's weird. It's. I think that really was part of the process and me gaining inspiration, which seemed instantaneous, right? Obviously, I was on a trail ride and suspension's proven.
Yeah, and then you were like, duh.
of course, there should be some, and there was, but it was, a scaled down version of our standard coilover shocks, which is totally viable. It works, but
yeah,
I thought, wow,
but it works
we
differently.
could simplify it. Oh, here's this cool picture. So I took a photograph of this just so it would be easier.
Is this yours or?
This is the one. This is the rear configuration, and I took a picture of it because I wanted to highlight how much abuse we've intentionally.
Yeah, this is intentional.
Yeah,
this is you beating the shit out of
this
them.
This is me beating the crap out of this. I'm not as good as James about documenting my miles, but I know that this has got to be easily over 100 miles, maybe not quite 200 miles of trail abuse.
Yeah, because
just strictly trails. Yeah,
trail.
That's a lot of miles for trail riding, bro. Because trail riding goes a lot slower than regular riding.
I think we did maybe 8 miles on the trail yesterday, bro. And I'm a little sore today, but it's completely different.
Tough. It's different,
bro.
dude.
Completely different shit. My calves, bro, my ankles, my feet are a different sore than they usually are.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because it's not really a new experience, but it kind of is at the same time. People, obviously, all-terrain boards are taking them on trails, but I don't think anyone's hitting a trail like I'm motivated to hit a trail.
Yeah. Dude.
So
oh, my gosh.
Alex, that I talked about earlier, he showed me some of these mountain bike trails in La Jolla. And, man, the stuff that we've been going over at rock gardens, just rocky, crazy terrain, some steep descents, ascents. I mean, man, it's crazy how much core you use. This is the thing, the experience you're saying about how you get exhausted. It's just a totally different animal, and I see this as sort of a nexus point, like a divergent point where people are going to want to do this kind of riding and exploring on a board. It just seems like a no-brainer, right? You have a board now that's an all-terrain, but it could be truly more of an off-road board if you offer suspension, control points, et cetera, et cetera. Mountain board style on a longboard style platform.
Yeah, and instead of having to spend $3,000 on a real off-road board or more, you can now just spend in the hundreds and convert your 2-in-1 board to now a 3-in-1 board.
Right.
Ooh. I mean,
you get a board that's 10 years old, bam, got our system on it, and it's this new off-road monster beast, right?
It really is. It changes up the whole thing. I was super surprised at all the abuse that it was taking yesterday, and I watched David's suspension system took on these rocks, bro, and ended up winning longer than his deck did, bro. And I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure you broke the suspension. He's like, no, it's good, dude. Look at it. I'm like, bro, I heard something break. And he was like, no. And so we look at the suspension. Everything's fine, dude. The trucks are all good. And after like another couple miles, we realized he may or may not have separated his deck. But the suspension, dude, just like keeps taking a beating.
That's great then.
Going, bro. And
because that means your system is totally strong enough that you've moved that bottleneck to somewhere else.
Yeah.
You don't
that would have broken no matter on the other trucks. Your deck would have broken way earlier.
Oh man,
because you're not getting that cushiony fall. So like, so that's great. So because really we've been waiting to launch just to ensure that your product is solid
that it's
and
sound.
that it will last.
And I think at this point you have
real world testing has happened. And I know James, you've got a lot of miles too.
What did I do? I hit a 800 on Thursday or Friday.
Which is great.
We're trying to hit the
Have you really hit 800 on your shock boards alone?
800, yep.
So how many miles does your endurance have in general now?
Oh my God, bro. We're running it on one of the shop boards. So
you're right.
I did the first probably 4 on my deck, and then we switched it over because we needed to sample new ESC that we're going to be using. So that's now in a different endurance with the shock board. So we're testing 2 things at once, and it has been a blast, bro.
Yeah.
It has been a lot of fun. But so 800 miles on that system, and I think I've taken it apart twice. And cleaned it because you gotta like grease up the little springs in there and stuff. And after you're smashing around outside for a while, dude, because of my OCD, and as soon as I see the dirt, I'm like, nope, it's got to come out of there. And so I've taken it apart twice and cleaned it, and the bearings in it and everything that's in it, all the little seals, bro, is perfect. Oh,
no, that's great. You're taking care of your stuff.
Yep.
I'm intentionally neglecting it.
Right.
I am letting it just get hammered
and dirty,
I'm not taking care of
most
it.
People don't take care of their stuff.
Dude,
so.
Let's be honest, yes, most people, myself included, kind of neglect.
I don't have to take care of anything because Jacob takes care of all my stuff for me. Hey, clean my board.
Jacob sees some dirty shit, dude, and we'll take care of it ASAP, bro. He hates it.
Yeah. So let's go over like you have your idea, and what are your steps now that like take us through like the process of getting it out of your head onto paper, onto a computer screen, and into the real world? I think a lot of people who listen like to hear about the behind the scenes part of things.
An origin story.
Yeah, like they like to see the product, but like
And
the
then the
actual
journey.
manufacturing and prototyping process, I believe is interesting, and I think a lot of other people also think it's interesting. So like, how did that process go for you? I know prototyping is very expensive, like
And
go-
time consuming.
Yeah.
time consuming. Like, go over that
Yes.
process for us.
In the process of me just diving into this whole world that
Yeah.
I hadn't been engaged with before. Yeah. So the inspiration, let's just say, okay, I was inspired. I had this almost instantaneous idea for a torsion spring setup because
Mhm.
it just seemed easily adaptable, scalable. It would be nice and clean. You didn't have to complicate it with a proprietary setup. And then the next thought almost instantaneously again was, wow, you could just configure this so that you could adapt it to all these boards. Okay, great idea. So I got a paper and pencil, literally, and just started sketching
how it starts
stuff out.
most of the
That's
time.
how it starts. I mean, it makes perfect sense, right? I played with that sketch and just, messed around with it for probably about a month. And this whole time, I'm kind of engaging my wife about this thing. I'm getting pretty amped about it. Hey, I think I have this great idea. She's listening to me and giving me the benefit of the doubt. But it really blossomed after that. And I got super pumped and inspired. I'm like, the only way I could really try to prove this virtually is to get a CAD program.
Right.
And really, now, of course, I was ignorant to learning the whole process and everything out there. So
The headache of CAD.
yeah, I didn't know anything about the CAD programs. It's not
Which that's the most
entirely
impressive
true.
part to me. That
Right?
that
You
we went
just-
from not knowing
Not
any
knowing
CAD
it.
programs to having your product look the way it does is
and
very
and
impressive
function,
to me.
bro.
And actually function properly. Your tolerances were actually right. Things fit
Yeah.
together. Like, that's crazy
My
to me.
God,
Yeah,
dude! I
blew-
spent
blew my
so
mind,
much. You
dude.
know how it is, Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, I just every day. I
Yeah.
was hitting it every day, all day long for 10, 12 hours.
How many YouTube videos did you watch about
about
Fusion? All of them?
Probably. I
Right.
found a couple good YouTubers explaining systems, and after that, I kind of just, what? I'm just
Trial
gonna
and error.
I
Yeah.
think David's
Right.
a lot smarter than he's telling us, bro.
No,
Are
I'm
you a
not.
genius?
I'm motivated.
IQ
No.
190 type
No.
shit.
No.
190.
Is that high, bro? Isn't that
That's
high?
very high.
That's how. Yeah. I just threw
No.
a number out there, dude. That's how. Okay.
James doesn't know what he's talking about.
I have no idea. I seen some license plate that said IQ 130, and I was like, is
That's
that-
pretty high
is that a
too.
fuck-
I
didn't
mean,
even-
it's
I didn't know
pretty.
if that
It's
was a
not like
flex or not, bro.
extraordinarily high, but it's pretty high.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I guess
above
that's
average.
a flex, bro. So I
Yeah.
just tried to triple that real quick. 369, 190. Anyways, squirreling.
So
That's so
CAD
douchey
program.
though to put your IQ in your license plate. I'm sorry.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
a weird flex. Hey, is my microphone sounding weird to you guys at all?
No, sounds
Okay.
good to me.
All right, good. It's just my headphones.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
Yeah, IQ and a license plate. It's counter and it's counter.
Now I don't believe you.
Yeah,
Huh.
exactly. Right.
What?
No, I believe
that
you.
his IQ
I don't
was
believe him
130,
now.
bro. I know. Huh? What do you do? Like tell him to roll down the window and throw the app at him on the phone, the IQ test app. I've always wanted to do it, but I'm afraid it's gonna be like a single digit number. Bro. I'm like, damn it, I knew it.
It'd be
know.
institutionalized
I knew it, dude.
immediately.
IQ is 10. Awesome.
yeah.
Way better than
As long as
9.
I'm double digits, bro, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Totally.
All right, so
I
you
made
learned
it to
CAD
10.
all by yourself, bro.
Yeah. Sort of. I mean, yes, YouTube videos, right?
Pretty much.
Tutorials. That definitely helped me get some basics down. I did buy a couple of books that are out there that were not part of Autodesk and that whole
Okay.
proprietary thing, right? And they were really basic too. They were actually pretty big catalogs of different processes to engage, but you go through those pretty quick because, again, it's just the basics. You
Right.
really have to just spend time with it.
Yep.
So I am definitely still an amateur. Oh my God!
Sure. Aren't we all?
Seriously, right? But I've learned it in a particular style that works for
Okay.
me. I work a lot with the primitive shapes, and it's just more intuitive to me.
Okay.
It's kind of like mechanical sculpting, let's say.
Gotcha.
Now, that's not really the sanctioned way to go about stuff.
Yes,
with
I'm very
parametric.
much on the sketch side of things.
That's the proper approach. And I know how to do that, but I was a little impatient with trying to get this thing worked out. So I
Right.
just it's now.
Now
it's a
you're too
habit.
deep.
Now it's a habit, right?
Yep. Yep.
And it's so intuitive for me. I can get on there and I can just start going. So I got the Fusion Autodesk 360 on a recommendation from a husband of a colleague of my wife's.
Okay.
Who is actually a person that worked for Lockheed as an engineer who's working for Google now. Dude's pretty smart, definitely smarter than me. But he recommended this program. I didn't know anything. So, hey, it was reasonable too because you can get a licensing and subscription to it for a ridiculous price as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
Having
it's very
access to
cheap,
something
actually.
That's sophisticated for someone like me. It's just stupid.
I had it free for about 4 years because I had the education license for a while.
My friend has that. I have a friend that works for UC San Diego, and it was serendipity. I met him way after this, a year and a half after this, and same thing with him.
There are some limitations though with the cam side, the manufacturing side. So I had to start. I mean, I ran out of my years anyways, but at that point, I knew I was going to have to start paying for it because it limits a lot of different settings and stuff. Kind of tries to get you to push you to pay for it, but it's really affordable, honestly, for what it can do. It's very affordable
for what you have access to. The level of sophistication, again, for someone like me or someone like you, we're not this giant institution,
right?
I mean, you can run an engineering team with this too. It's very collaborative.
Yep.
I'm obviously not doing it. I'm just a team of one, so it's perfect for me. It was affordable, and it's just crazy. Again, not to keep talking about that subject, but I think about these dudes back in the day were doing stuff like this with a drafting table.
Oh man, and there was rooms full of people doing drafting.
My God.
Yeah.
If I had to do this with just basically pencil, paper, drafting table, I don't even know.
That's the most impressive thing ever is that we built these crazy things with just pencils, paper. Like that's all we had
it's
to draw up blueprints and to manufacture. Like that's crazy to me.
Right. Now that I have context with the level of sophistication that this offers and accessibility, I'm just like mad respect for those crazy dudes.
Like the software doesn't even impress me. It's like the old way impresses me more. I don't know how to explain it. It's just it's very impressive.
So here's my question. So once you got done with CAD, dude, what do you do after that? How do you find somebody to make your shit for real?
Yeah, like what point?
Unknowns to me. I just had to figure it out.
Yeah.
So
I don't pick up a phone book and be like, hey, fucking.
I probably would have.
I need a truck putter together.
Because dude, you're talking to someone in their 50s, right? Like a
Yellow Pages, bro. Yellow Pages is a big thing.
At what point did you decide my design is done?
Yes, and
I believe it's ready for a prototype. Like, at what point did you get there, and then, like, how many did you get? Like, did you just get one? Did you get a run of a couple? Like,
right. This is the thing I didn't know, and I had an idea of prototyping because I had talked to a few people. They're like, "Yeah, it's very expensive." Well, it makes sense, right? It's all about investment for companies.
Yeah.
Creating this very sophisticated form for you out of metal with their machine and technology. So, of course, it's going to be this really expensive cost. But I didn't know what those costs were.
Right.
I didn't even know who to go to. So I really kind of just did this proverbial phone book thing. But my wife, being much smarter than me and much more savvy.
She's great, by the way.
With
she is awesome.
One of my favorite people at Esk8Exchange. She's so nice.
So awesome.
She is insanely awesome. I am just a lucky bastard.
It sounds like you have a similar scenario where like there's the dreamer, right? And then there's someone who reins them in because without that, chaos ensues.
Yeah. Come back into reality for a little bit, Roland.
And they're able to guide us into the direction that we need to go to.
She keeps the rails on.
They say next to every great man is an even greater wife. So
true story.
Bam.
All right, dude. So she helped you find some shit.
She helped me find some stuff. So I don't know if I can say this.
Of course, dude.
You can say it. It's up to you, bro.
Well, Alibaba.
Yeah.
Let's just go with that. That's where I ended up sourcing.
Okay.
And finding all these companies to manufacture. And as a side note, I really tried. I tried so hard to find people to do it here.
Yep.
So it was really cost prohibitive. Like
it is
for sure in the very beginning of the production.
Going on.
Yeah, the whole prototyping and all that in America is hard to figure it out.
We don't have any investors. We don't have deep pockets, and in fact. Again, as a side note, we did sell our house in Denver. We're renting now because that's how we're helping to.
So you are all in, bro. People like to hear that. People like to hear that you're all in because you're not going to just pick up and leave. Like you're very invested.
You're super dedicated. It's either you succeed or you fail, and that's
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude.
those are our options.
Yeah, you know.
That's where it is right now,
So
right?
you can really only succeed.
We're in it to win it, you
Yeah.
know, and so, yeah, we're going to keep trying. We're going to keep
You'll
pushing
be,
and pushing,
I think you'll be
'cause I
okay.
think we have a
Yeah,
real thing.
I'm really excited. And let's not also go just fly right on past the trick stick either.
I know,
Dude.
we
We've
gotta
like
talk about
we started
that.
talking about the Shoc box and then how that all got invented. Like, yes, dude, but the trick stick is what's awesome because this
is a
really
labyrinth
opens up
journey of
like
my
the Shoc
mind.
box is really cool and the Shoc box with the trick stick is awesome because it really gives you the whole MBS style, but the trick stick and what it does and how it functions and then this like how simple it is at the same time is awesome, dude.
Yeah, so the trick stick is a great supplement to the system. And that was also something I really had in the back of my mind while I was designing the suspension system. It seemed like a total no-brainer to me when I was taking my board that didn't have any of these things. They weren't realized yet on a trail that I could control my board much better if I had a binding. I mean, bindings existed, right? Here's the issue with bindings. They're much more available and baked into the mountain board platform.
Yeah,
right?
you
Like
really
a
can't just
trampoline.
slap one on a 2-in-1. You got to like screw holes
It's more
and
difficult
so
to
difficult.
configure it or to dedicate it to most e-skateboard longboard platforms, right? Especially now with the carbon and you've got the enclosure and you've got the lid. You might not have room for fasteners, blah, blah, blah. Then you're dedicated, right? It's not an easy on and off. Now, there's some alternatives. I know one rider in San Diego, Hamza, he uses this pretty cool setup, which is sort of an in-step half binding thing, right? That is out of your way. It's not something
it's
that
very on the edge
have
of
to
the board.
strap yourself in. So that was a bit of an inspiration for me too. So I had the suspension system. Wow, what a great thing if you had a half binding and also a handle for
there we go. That's what I
tow
was
and utility.
Just about to say.
Something that could perform both functions, something that you could get out of the way when you just want to cruise, you just want to chill, but you're not interested in going nuts on your board. But
Which
when
is
you do want to hit a trail, or you want to
Mike puts a trick stick the other way when he rides.
Right, or if you want to hit or an urban assault situation, or you just want to drop off of a steep curb, or maybe you want to
or you want to do wheelies
onto a curb,
up a curb,
right. Now you've got a control point where you can lift your board. Also, I found through my experience, and I know that you probably have too, James. Even if you're not talking about airtime, so to speak, if you're not talking about bunny hopping and lifting, which we can get into, it actually just stabilizes your foot on the deck.
Yeah.
It keeps it from sliding, moving around. And you can even leverage it on a heel turn or a toe turn.
Yeah,
right?
that's where I found the
Gives
most
you more
benefit.
control
I
on a
like
turn. No matter where you are, what you're doing,
Right.
it doesn't matter on the train. I honestly don't want to ride a board without at least one in the front engaged anymore at all. Unless I'm super chill, but because you just have much more control and stability.
My prediction is that your trick stick will outsell your shock box system 5-1.
I agree.
Because first off, not everybody wants or requires some sort of shock system.
Right.
However,
You might not need it.
how easy it is to just slap a trick stick on any board, I think for a lot of people it's a no-brainer.
So here's the thing.
Because it's not just the clamp, but it's also the handle, and it also is adjustable in different positions and all sorts of stuff.
Right, and here is an example again of what you mentioned, and I'll touch upon that. It's compatibility, right?
Right.
So the trick stick just uses that 4-screw pattern that is, again, ubiquitous to almost every base plate on a pivot, on a truck setup, right? That dimensional spacing with those 4 screws for your deck on a longboard, I mean, they're all the same.
Right.
So that's how it attaches. In the kit, you'll get screws of different lengths to appropriate an attachment to different board setups, different board deck thicknesses. Also,
you can have the trick stick in different heights.
You can have it. There'll be spacers.
Yeah. See, in
included,
this,
so you can
this
raise
has
and
got a
lower it.
spacer on there, right?
Right,
This has got a riser.
spacer.
Yeah, because
So,
it comes with a couple different spacers. Because not everybody's foot is the same
Exactly,
position
or
and
the board.
thickness.
Depends what
of-
shoes you wear.
the shoes you
The
wear and
shoes,
everything.
shoe size,
Goofy or regular.
spacing.
Like there's all sorts of shit that happens.
Preference, the board profile. That is actually the awesome endurance right there. So you guys have
That
a
is
little
All right.
drop down.
so
right?
pretty.
Yeah, we do.
Some boards have a more aggressive drop down, like the Hadian that I
Right.
have. It drops down a little further, so I don't have it set as high. So there's adaptability with this system.
That makes sense.
Again, based on the foot, based on the profile of the board. So spacers come with a kit. And so that picture's pretty cool example. You can see it engaged on the board side. So that's what you would do. You'd spin it in. It's splayed out at a slight angle. I guess I'll go over the detents, which are just lockable positions and a mechanism to give you the advantage of a location,
right,
with intention in the mechanism. So it's got 5 positions that you can put the handle into to appropriate the function of the handle. The inboard position facing towards the deck, whether you have it in the front or the back of the board, allows you that control point over the instep of your foot. Instep, incidentally, is the top of your foot, right over here.
Oh.
So just this is your instep.
I've heard you say
This is
instep
your
a couple
arch.
times. I'm
Right.
like, I guess I don't know what that means.
Right. I mean, a lot of right. It's not a common word that
And it
most
doesn't
people are
seem
familiar
like that's
with,
the
but
most intuitive word because it's
It
the
isn't.
top of your foot.
The
So
top.
instep to me
The-
sounds like the arc of
it
your
sounds
foot,
like
the
it would be
inside.
the arch or the bottom
Yeah,
platform.
arch.
Right.
Okay,
Sorry.
so the instep.
So instep, man, I don't know the origin of that.
It doesn't matter.
term.
It's all
Doesn't
good.
matter.
Is it Latin?
Yeah, sure,
Right.
sure.
So it fits over the
Fucking
instep.
way.
I know.
Yes. It's over the instep. So inboard, it has about a 15-degree angle splayed out either side, which appropriates a geometry that's advantaged for either a goofy rider or a traditional rider, meaning either left foot forward or right foot forward. That little angle helps to comport the geometry, the shape, and the position of the handle in an ideal location for comfort and functionality when you're lifting up on it. So that's why it's got a slight angle. And let's talk about the grip real quick too at that position. The new custom grip, which I didn't have at the show, is all me. That was a process trying to figure out how to get an overmold injection thing done.
Yeah, because your
But
first
this
grips
is-
did not look like
they
this. Your
didn't,
first grips
no.
were just kind of like bicycle handle grips.
They are, and you can still use that.
Uh-huh.
So the part of the thing that I really wanted to configure with the system is a customizable platform and something easy too. My approach was trying to use off-the-shelf things, which a lot of things I actually ditched, and that was mostly concerning hardware. But the grip, it just seemed like a no-brainer to me to adapt a bicycle single clamp grip like you'd have on a mountain bike to the handle system and the foot position system, because it just had the right geometry, had the right, it just had the right size, shape, etc. And it was easy. I could just implement a 22 millimeter tubing, and then you could just get a grip and you could just clamp that bastard on there, depending on what color and what kind of softness or hardness that you wanted, the durometer of the material, the TPE material, and then go to town. But I always, in the back of my mind, wanted to make a custom grip that again would fit the instep of your foot, with a more efficient contact patch, so that you have more
comfortable too.
It's more comfortable. You have better control, so you can see the arch profile that kind of just fits the top contour shape of your foot. You can also take that contour and pitch it.
You can rotate it along
rotate
the
it to the slope of the top of your foot, depending on which foot you have forward. So again, it's all about contact and control.
Right.
So the more surface area you have on the top of your instep, arguably the more control and comfort you're going to have. It's an ergonomic, it's a human factors thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will say that I'm very impressed that you went and actually did your custom grip in your Generation 1 product, because I understand how expensive injection molding is.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's not cheap at all, not even close. Like CNCing, like it's expensive, but like you pay each unit and you get each unit. With injection molding, you pay this several $1,000 mold fee before you get a single product out of it ever.
Yeah.
And then you pay individual units.
Yes.
Now, once your mold's paid off, then units get very, very cheap.
Right.
But the lifetime of that mold over, say, 1,000 units has to get baked into the cost of those units until you've decided that you've paid off your mold, right?
Yep.
So we've been there several times. We've done injection molding probably 6 or 7 times now, and it's very expensive. Like same thing with our decks even. They're not injection molded, but they're still molded.
Still a mold.
And those molds are very, very expensive.
It's
So like
nerve-wracking,
hats off
too.
to you for actually going for it.
Right.
Because honestly, for a first generation product, I would have expected just a
bicycle grip.
generalized
Just the
bicycle grip because it's still very good with just that grip.
Yeah.
But for you to actually go for it and spend the God only knows how much money on the
well, that's
grip
me.
is
That's
very
the dreamer, right?
Yep.
So,
yeah.
And
so,
Yeah, you went for it, bro.
So Beth, I was left unchecked by Beth for this one.
And
right?
then
Sneaking around,
and then
making
at
this
the-
whole thing,
at
and
the end of
finding
at the end of the grip, there was just the regular mounting screw, and then he was like, you know what? I don't like this. I'm gonna go ahead and change this. So then he did a reiteration to that cap, and it's now we didn't get to give you a picture of
Yeah,
it.
there is a better
so-
cap on
Yeah,
there.
it's the cap that goes all the way up and around.
Right. I did send you a picture, James. But it's a little too late. Maybe we could bake that into later.
We
But
will.
yeah. So I sent you, I think, actual photographs once they were done, and I showed you a rendering of it. So yeah, let's get
Just
into
imagine
that.
the
You can
profile
see-
of the end of
Right.
the. It's pretty much just a cap that's the same profile
it's
as the
called
end
a
of
grip
the
cap.
Yep.
It's this ubiquitous thing with single clamps like this, sold by individually through grip companies. You can get them at mountain bike stores. You can get them on Amazon, whatever. That's kind of what I went with. That was the one thing that was sort of off the shelf. But I realized from myself and other people, test pilots like James, that the TPE or the spongy material, right, the rubber, synthetic rubber type material, let's just call it that, of the grip sleeve was deforming and kind of getting out of shape through rugged trail use and abuse, and it just seemed like a no-brainer to go ahead. Right,
Bam, there it is, dude.
Here you go.
God, that looks good.
To keep it in place.
I love the way that looks.
And
so,
it's functioning pretty good.
I'm
having good
it is.
success with it.
David was telling me that a couple people may or may not have said that they weren't sure how they felt about it, and so David put it on my board yesterday before we went and smashed through this trail. And there's a couple times where I had to flip my handle around, bro, and like walk up the trail because I wasn't trying to go up that thing. But it was better, bro, than just having, because the way that the rubber was before, it would kind of bend a little bit when you would try to grab it and pull it. Well, now this like locks everything in, so you can like grab it with some fingers, lock it in, and really hoist that board up there, dude.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah,
Thanks,
no,
man.
it's very air knuckles, bro.
Bam.
All the way from over here. Yeah, no, I'm impressed that this is like this goes to show, like, not to take anything away from you specifically, but I'm always so jealous of everybody who has the time to focus on one product, because it really shows that you've been focused. Like every other brand that's got 100 different products, nothing ever looks as good as what you've made.
Wow.
Looks or functions.
Because it's just they don't spend the time perfecting their one thing, and you've been able to do that.
Compliment, dude.
Yeah,
I think too, it's a disconnect with teamwork. It's not a diss against larger companies,
right?
Who have a whole, and maybe they have an R&D, they have a couple engineers on the case, right? For me, there's so much motivation baked into this creative endeavor. To me, this is it's artisan stuff, right?
Right.
So I'm very lucky and fortunate that I can spend the time, but I'm much more invested in it personally, right?
Yeah,
I think
that
that's
helps.
what it
That
boils
helps.
down to.
Yeah,
it's all me, and there's a lot riding on the line, right? There's a lot of risk financially, et cetera, et cetera. So there's that component, but the main component right here is this. This is my creative endeavor. This is my painting. This is my sculpture. This is something that's very artistic to me.
Right.
And I want it to be the best it can be. And it's going to be an evolution. I mean, I know this is the first gen, but I'm really happy with it. But I think the best way forward with any company or any endeavor where you're creating something is to never be satisfied. Right.
Okay.
That's where innovation.
Be a little satisfied.
You know what I mean.
Satisfied, but crave better.
Exactly. Never be satisfied with something being its final iteration. Like you're always seeking
is anything
to
finally
improve.
really done? I feel like almost everything can be improved.
So in
the universe,
in film school, we learned that
look at that.
Films are never they're never completed. They escape.
I like that.
So like eventually you just have to send it. You can't because because they could sit there and they can go frame by frame and edit everything more and more and more to the point where it's beyond perfect. But then you'll never release it. They'll never release it.
You always tell me 85%. Get it.
You gotta get it. Well, at least to start, you gotta get it.
Right.
There's like a 90%. I think probably 90% there. If you can get there to 90%. There's the rule of diminishing returns, right? It'll take you a month to get to 90%, 6 months to get that last 10%. Is that last 10% really worth 6 months of lost time?
Probably not.
Probably not. Like, get the 90%, learn something, get it produced, and then while that's running, refined for version 2. Like the Endurance, is it a perfect board? No, but is it 90% there? Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Now iteration 2 will be able to get to 95% there because that last 5% we've been working on for a year.
Yeah.
Right? So like that's just part of it. So like
Right.
I was telling David earlier this week, I was like, please don't perfect yourself to death because there are companies out there that they release something and then they just try to perfect it for so long and it never comes out.
Right.
And
Exactly.
I feel like it hurts business that way. Like there's all this hype and then we sit on it for months and months and months, nitpicking this and that. Obviously, if it's a safety thing, of course. But if it's just aesthetics or if it's just like a little tweak that's not necessarily important.
If
like
it's a critical factor, it's
Sure.
worth addressing.
Sure.
But if you've ironed them all out and you're not having any red flags, let's say, so to speak,
just
no
send it.
real problems.
Like, do we really care how big your fillet or chamfers are? Not really. So
Those
like
people don't even know what the fuck those words
Right.
are, bro.
Exactly.
So just send
You
it.
say that, Mike, because oh my god,
No,
I
because
feel
that
you, man. It's
fillets and chamfers. So a
people have no
chamfer
idea
is like
how
a
many
nice
hours I've spent dealing with
a
with the
chamfer is like a
chamfer.
nice like hard edge break, and
Yeah.
a fillet's like a round over,
Right,
right?
it's a
But like,
round over.
and we designers do
God.
spend a lot of time deciding what those are.
Dude,
However,
Oh my
Because
God.
I
The
know 'cause
end
I hear
consumer
you
doesn't
talking-
care.
Yeah, I hear you talking about those words. Because he's coming over, check this chamfer out, bro. I'm like, what?
Well,
what
you
am I,
know what?
What am I feeling? He's
You
like,
know
oh,
what's
right here,
funny?
there it is. And I'm like, oh.
What's funny is now that I'm doing my own manufacturing, we actually are not supposed to add any chamfers at all in the design side of things, and we add the chamfer in the machining side of things because machining a chamfer that's actually in the design is actually quite hard.
Right.
So you want to remove all your chamfers and then do it.
I've heard this
Post-
from my
after.
friend Doug, who is
Yeah.
a great friend of mine,
Yep.
who does. He's a self-proclaimed hobbyist CNC person, but it's a bit of an insult because he's just mad.
Oh, we
Really
have,
good.
talented.
we got
But
somebody
he
that
said the
watches our
same
show
thing.
that is actually a Haas CNC
Oh wow,
tech.
Service tech,
Service
yeah.
tech. Yeah, dude, shout out.
Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
pretty cool.
for sure. Yeah, chamfers.
Sorry, dude. Did I just
Chamfer
scroll?
spells
Sorry,
out.
you said CNC, and then
No,
I started
you're good,
thinking
bro.
about some other stuff, and
No, you're good. We're just. I think at this point, you know, so when are you actually releasing? Because you have a
Give
launch
us-
date, right? Or a pre-order launch date.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
wanted to do it at the end of this month.
Okay.
Okay.
So people need to keep an eye on
Oh,
your
man.
channels for that. Then.
I think it's gonna squeak over the borderlands of September into October.
Okay.
and that's
man.
pre-order.
Do you want to discuss
It's-
pricing or
It's
anything?
pre-order.
Okay.
Well, the pricing is all on the website now.
Okay.
We're gonna try to incentivize the pre-sale launch.
Yeah, that's always good. People
with
like
some
free
things.
stuff.
I'm not sure how we're going to configure that yet, but for sure, we want to give people an advantage out of the gate if they're going to commit
Right.
to a pre-sale. So the pre-sale is our way of avoiding investors and other
Right.
situations, which
Which ultimately drives the price up to
it
things.
drives the price up.
does.
Investors want their cut.
that
and they want a
and-
big cut, at least 33.3%. Shout out to Shark Tank.
we don't. We want to stay in. We don't want to be compelled by the pressure of investors to
Yes.
to take this company to places that we'd rather not go. We want to stay extremely product focused. We want to stay so focused on our consumers. We just don't want anyone else having the input for steering that bus, for driving
The moment
bus.
you have an investor, you now have a responsibility to
You
them
do.
first, customers second,
You
and
don't
that's
wanna
the
do that. I
problem.
want to put customers first. I
Yep.
want to put the product.
And that's
first.
how so far we have gone through without investors,
Right,
which
and
has
that's
been great.
awesome. You guys have been
So now we
inspiring,
can,
by the way, in
uh,
so many
thank
ways.
you.
But yes,
Thanks.
no doubt. And shout out to Eric at Shredlights too. I've been talking.
Yeah,
to
Yes.
him.
motivated.
He's
There
Dude,
we go.
he's
Talk
a-
about a man
God
with a plan.
damn, dude.
I tip
Eric
my hat
is-
to that man for sure. Not only is he awesome, but he's brilliant.
Yeah,
and
he's
amazing
inspiring
product.
too.
Like,
And that's another example of being able to focus on one product and
Yeah.
refine the hell out of it because he
Right.
really has.
he has
Oh.
this amazing.
Oh my
product.
god,
Crazy.
dude, so good.
So I hope to have even a fraction of the success you guys have had in Eric.
Oh,
So
thanks,
we'll see.
dude.
I really do. So yes, we don't want that. We're gonna try to avoid that with pre-sales, meaning that if people commit to the sales and we reach this threshold, we will absolutely get you this stuff. It'll be great. It'll have great packaging and shipping, but you'll have to wait a couple months for it
Right.
to get into your hands. And we're going to explain all the details, and we won't leave you hanging. We'll also keep you up to date on the process.
Right.
If you commit to a pre-sale with whatever incentives we have going on, we aren't going to just fall off the radar and keep you in the shadows. We'll keep you posted on how it's going along, send you some content when we start getting the product, we start doing assemblies.
Yes.
So that you know it's
That's the way to do it, bro.
Tell
me how. Ask me how I know that. Because honestly, pre-orders we stopped doing. Now you're in a different boat than us. But we stopped pretty much doing pre-orders because usually when we say like, oh, it'll take a month, it really takes 6 weeks or 7 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever it takes. And then you keep moving the goalposts and people get upset about it. No matter how open, like, so honestly, because we've had problems in the past where we were not transparent enough, where it sounds like right out of the gate, you understand, like
really
transparency is
transparency is key.
Yeah, there are some unknowns, but
of course
we're going to do our best to convey that, and we're going to be realistic about time frames. Like I'm not going to tell anyone they're going to get it sooner than 2 months. Now there is definitely a possibility that can happen, but I'm not going to just tease that.
Right,
it's not worth it. Well, I guess I kind of did that right now, but
whatever.
Well, you know what?
That's just you can let people know that's best case scenario, and then maybe worst case scenario is 3 months or whatever.
So this just happened to the one wheel scene with the whole float wheel. So in order to buy the float wheel, like there was a pre-sale, and you had to like end up buying crypto and sending them this full payment in crypto, bro. Like it was sketchy as fuck, and there was still a lot of people, dude, that did it. But the thing is Tony, the main engineer and like the main guy behind float wheel, he was constantly making videos about what's going on, the engineering process. How everybody's stuff doing it. So it was constant updates, and then it was like, all right, guys, like shit's gonna be launching in 2 weeks. Like you guys are gonna start getting your stuff. And he held to all of that stuff. Everything launched as soon as he gave a date. He always gave everybody advice. He always gave everybody time frames and updates and everything. And so as long as you're that and you're transparent, bro, I feel like it works.
Yeah. Your customers are your people, man. Keep them informed. Like you're nothing without your customers, and that's just
exactly.
I mean, that's a great thing. Like this is new for me, the whole retail thing, directly creating a product. This whole journey's been new, but I think we're doing pretty good so far. But my intention is, the customers are everything. And this, you know, what's really cool about this industry? It's recreational. It's fun. Yeah. This is one thing that Beth and I talk about a lot. It's like, man, if you can make a living doing something that's fun, however complex it may be, or whatever the level of engagement is financially, you know, those have their own stresses. But if you can follow that dream, oh my God, it's awesome. And if it's in an industry where people are just all about having fun, that honestly helps.
Yeah, and you know what?
David, customers have a lot of passion, dude.
And David is about the fun too. Like he handed me, he was out doing me yesterday on the trail, bro. There was some shit yesterday where I was like, I'm cool. I want to make it to work on Monday, bro. And he's like, Mama didn't raise no bitch, dude, and sent it. I'm like, oh my God, bro. But you know, David is like really taking the initiative to not just bring a product to the scene, but become the part of the scene with the product. Dude.
Oh my God. Well,
down in California, he's hanging out the SD skate dudes. Right? He comes here, he hangs out with us. Like
he's put some miles in just in the car,
dude.
He's
out, dude. Like he's meeting people. He's going to New Mexico to go meet up with Jack. Jack has Wi-Fi.
I had to postpone it for a little bit, but I was talking to Jack last night. So the good news for Jack is awesome.
Yeah, Jack is the shit.
He's a cool guy.
He'll be at Esk8Con 2024.
Right, I'm going to be able to spend a couple days with him. Before it was just one day, but now I've pushed it back a little bit, so now I can at least be with him for 2 days. And Beth is going to go down. So
cool.
That'll be cool. We both can go down there and represent and talk to Jack.
So yeah, dude, you have like put yourself you made yourself a part of the scene.
I wanted these things on a board. The whole reason I freaking even endeavored in this whole thing is because this is what I wanted. Like everything, right? Yep. Necessity is a mother of invention. Yeah, you can argue that this isn't necessary because it's recreational, but honestly, I just think this is the way, this is sort of the direction again that Esk8 is going to inevitably go. I mean, obviously with the board from the Endeavor board from what's the name of that?
Propel.
Yeah.
Right. They're thinking it. I mean, there's Trampa boards. They don't have suspension systems with mountain boards. I mean, trail riding is a thing. It's just going to be more of a thing.
I think you'll do really well.
Racing, but it's just going to be something that hasn't been fully realized yet. And that was my inspiration.
I think you'll do really well in the countries where electric skateboards are illegal on the street because that pushes them all to mountain boards. It pushes them all to trail riding. And,
very good point.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure. There's quite a few countries.
The city, the guys who are just riding, commuting to work, maybe aren't your target. But they will though.
What does John say?
Doesn't
John always tell us that that's the reason why he had an MBS board is because it was illegal. It was back in the day. I don't know if it still is, but he was illegal to e-skate out there. So he had to build this MBS board from the ground. Well, not really build it from the ground up, but and then go ride it.
He's in the UK.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And then he had to take his shit out on some trails and some more stuff. So it was like he tried a regular tune one, I think, and it wasn't working out there.
Right.
And so that's what led him to build the MBS board. So for sure, yep.
Yeah, I think that is just its environment right now. We can take these boards that just weren't sort of baked in the oven for that environment, and you can give them a huge advantage, and it can just be so awesome. I didn't touch on the trick stick component with one of its features. We kind of did, but we're talking about how you can position it to the instep or to the inboard side, use it over your instep. But the cool thing too that I wanted to bake into that design was being able to spin it out of the way with those detents outboard side and just use it as a toe point that you can grab as a grip,
Yes.
And I think this is where it's going to just have be usable in so many scenarios. Like you said, we're on the trail, right, James? And you can just spin it if you don't want to ride a feature. Maybe you're just not willing to take it on at that point. Or in an urban environment, right? You're just going in and out of your house. You can spin that thing around and tow it easy. I mean, of course, you can grab the hanger in the truck. But they're dirtier.
No, that's dirty, dude.
The wheel's a little closer to your
flip
leg.
it around and grab it and pull it and lift it up, dude. But,
So it's the top of your deck. It's usually not going to be as grimy and dirty. It's more convenient. It's comfortable. It's got the TPE, and those detents are 45 degrees either side. So you can position it in the front. I like to call that the passive position, where it's 180 outboard, right? It's just out of the way. Of course, you can use it as a utility handle for towing your board. But they also position it at a 45-degree angle on either side. So depending on what side of the board you like to walk your board with, you can put it into that 45-degree position.
To the left,
grab
to the right.
it, and kind of have your board out a little bit further and more comfortable so it's not just hitting your leg and dragging your leg.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That is.
I think you've got it a lot. You've thought about it a lot, and it shows.
Yeah, we're really impressed, and I don't think that we would just bring you on to the podcast, dude, if we weren't like, man, this guy might be trying to scam us, and he's just some plot. he's just some spy from China. We don't really know, but did you bake yourself in the scene? You've proved yourself. Like, we're excited for sure to have you come into the scene, bro, and really.
I'm excited to see the innovation. I'm excited to get these on boards that we can sell to our customers.
Yes, because me and Jacob came up with a name last night for the board that we want to build with those.
Oh, all right, we'll talk about that later.
Well, yeah, somebody had dropped it in the comments, dude, and we set it out on the ride, and we might have to go with it, dude. So we'll have to have you check it out.
Cool.
But yeah, dude, we kind of got to start wrapping.
We got to wrap it
up,
up,
bro.
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
David, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you for coming here, dude.
Thank you guys for just spending the time with me, taking time out of your work day.
You were in town for a couple
Sunday
days.
morning, bro. We've never shot a podcast on a Sunday.
So
we
cool
had to make this happen, dude. It was a big deal. So
James,
for sure, thanks, man.
Thanks for test piloting and stuff and putting mad crazy miles on it.
Of course.
I really, really can't thank you guys enough.
Absolutely.
For what
we're happy to help, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We're excited.
And one teaser for Esk8Con 2024, which I cannot wait for, by the way.
Yes.
I'm so pumped.
April
now that I have
5th through 7th.
Friends and everything. I can't wait. There's going to be some new stuff from our company.
Okay.
I'm trying. I want to get to the point where we're going to be revealing and releasing it at the show. Okay.
Cool.
So I just want to say
look out for some teasers at the show.
We've got some new stuff too coming out in March.
That's what we'd like as a couple companies dropping teasers. For
I think more and more people will start releasing stuff at Esk8Con because March or early April is a great time because that's the start of our season.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's a good time to release stuff, and especially if you can have it ready to start shipping.
That's exactly what we're gonna try like crazy to do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm trying not to be.
It's hard, bro. It's really hard. Production's a nightmare.
Oh man.
You know what? Prototyping is easy and production's difficult. I can tell you that right now.
It gets hard, dude.
Yep.
All right, my timer's about to go off, gentlemen.
All right.
Okay.
Hey,
thanks, Mike.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks,
for sure.
Jacob, who's not here right now, and everybody else.
Listen, we kicked him off to have you on, and he's a little butthurt, but he'll get over it.
It's all good.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All
Thank you, guys.
Peace out.
See ya.